Chris, I don't have confidence in what it is that I just saw, and I walked into a room where it didn't seem like Billy had much confidence in what he saw playing out on video. And then when I came out, I looked at your father, and he was grinning ear to ear while watching something, and he was watching himself. He was watching whatever he was doing, whatever he had orchestrated. Billy, where are you with whether this is going to succeed or not?
Oh, I mean, I have no idea if this is going to succeed or not. I just know when we walked in, you and I separately, we had the same experience where we were quickly ushered out of where our normal was just like, hey, pick up the pace, get out of this room, you can't be here, you can't be there, go hide in this corner, we can't have you here. There was a live, active music video shoot going on.
It's Sooie week. It was not a music video, it was a rehearsal, like we did in the New York show. We try to rehearse things with my dad. I'm sure he'll screw it up.
You can't rehearse things with him. They don't work when you rehearse anything with him.
Well, that's what, as we learned with New York, you're right. We tried to practice this once or twice before. We're about to go live to it. It's Sooie's week.
Okay, you're trying to bring the enthusiasm to Sooie's week, and this is how we're doing, like, the adornments on Sooie week. We're doing a taped thing that required your father to rehearse.
For me, the best award shows start with an opening number. And that's what we're trying to prepare here for the audience.
Is that true? Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do the best award shows start with an opening number?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Don't they all? Are any award shows that don't start with an opening number?
I'm not, I haven't tuned into award shows in probably 15 years, but I don't assume that you I guess, yeah. Did Conan start? Conan started dancing around with, like, in the last one, he did a bit of a musical, right?
I don't believe you.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I think you watch all the award shows.
15 years?
You guys are now accusing me.
We talk about every award show after it happens.
Show. We did 2 weeks of Shane Gillis talk. You watched every award show.
I didn't watch any of the ESPYs.
Watch him.
All I saw was the 10-minute monologue.
You watch them.
Okay, I don't know what to do with being accused of being a liar now.
15 years.
That's your move now.
Hell out of here.
Look,
it's Sooie's week.
I will tell you that the last award show moment I remember was my wife waking me up because Will Smith had slapped Chris Rock.
It's Sooie's week.
That was 2022. Caught you.
Is your dad? I wasn't watching.
Caught you.
I was asleep.
It's Sooie's week.
Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Yeah. I hear him chatting the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls better tell me I'm awesome. Yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. We can't go on, man, forget my peace. You take the west, I'll take on the east. I'ma put them in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chatting the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Man so tough, but man's keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls better tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
It's time to put on a suit and roll out the carpet. Crank up the tube and gather near. It's the best time of the year, so keep your dial right here. It's me and you and me again at the Sooies. The greatest of laughs, mistakes, and best revelations. And so much more. Brought to you by the greatest beer. It's the best time of the year, so keep your dial right here. It's me and you and me again at the Sooies. And every day you're gonna go to a website sounds that brought you cheer.
This is
'Cause it's the best
very
time
well
of
lip
the
synced.
year. So keep your dial right here. It's me and you. It's me again and it's you. It's me and you and me again at the Sooie. That kind of thing.
All right.
All right, Greg.
The timing on the lip sync was slightly
Was
off,
perfect.
but
Lip sync.
pretty good, all things considered. And Sooie Week is here, and I heard you taping stuff. Put on your headset like a professional.
He's actually got ear pods in.
Really?
He's ready to cook.
Woo! Excuse me.
Who's the professional now?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Forgive me for underestimating you. You look great. I haven't seen. There are only 2 times that I've ever seen Greg Cody dressed this way. 2 times. When his boys got married. That's it. That's the list. This outfit does not get worn except on these most special of occasions.
Yeah, that's right.
Is this the only suit that you own? It's also for funerals?
Yeah, it's weddings and funerals and special occasions. This is probably one of 3 suits I own, and it's the one that's the closest to being new and clean.
It is great. You look great, and thank you for getting us on this awards week off to a rip-roaring start. We're going to open with Uncomfortable Moment because I imagine I've got a few of those in there. I'm the reigning champion here, correct? This is my category.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't you guys agree that, like, Stugotz has mispronunciations, Greg Cody has back in my day, most uncomfortable moment or biggest mistake? Those are my categories.
Well, I put up a good fight in biggest mistake, so don't take that one.
Okay, but you would agree that if I were the betting, I've got to be the betting favorite on uncomfortable moment.
You know
yes?
who actually had a great performance this year in terms of a person you're going to see pop up in a lot of categories? David Sampson. Yeah. I mean, he can make us uncomfortable. I would say, no, you are in here, but David Sampson brings it in uncomfortable. I believe Amin has a good one, so it's pretty widespread, actually.
All right, we'll get to that in a moment. But speaking of uncomfortable moments, I want to play some video for you. This is from Mike Bibby's podcast, and Shaq is making an appearance on the podcast. And he's told parts of this story before, okay, of how it is that Shaq and the Miami Heat broke up. It included Shaq being escorted out by security, wanting to fight Pat Riley. His things were taken outside, and they were not to see each other. And Shaq has told those portions of the story before. But I want to present to you this story as he told it to Mike Bibby, where his anger was. And I just want to bring it to the Dolphins to ask you how it is that they're going to handle situations like this if things escalate this year and you do not have somebody like Pat Riley at the helm of your organization. How do you handle this?
One day Jason Williams came late. Like, remember you used to have that clock?
Yeah.
So Jason Williams came a half a second late, and he was like, "Hey man, you need to get out." I told Jason, we're not doing that, because that's when he got rid of Antoine and all my guys, and I had a regular team, so we was losing like crazy. So he told J-Dub to get out, and I said, "No, we're not getting out." He said, "Well, you get out." And I said, "Mother, put me out." So we got into a little scuffle, and then the next day I was traded.
A little scuffle.
Yeah. So I ask you, Mother Bleeper, you put me out, obviously with Shaq. How do you do it? But let's make it Tyreek Hill. Let's make the season start. And now the focal point of everything you do offensively and your job and your future all rely on, I kind of need the deep threat. He kind of makes everything happen. And you know he's not going to behave if it goes poorly at the start, right? You guys understand that there's a volatile chemical in the Dolphin locker room that was shouting at the end of last season, "Get me out of here," in public.
Mm-hmm. And they didn't trade him, and that spoke volumes. Mike McDaniel's job is teetering, and he needs Tyreek Hill, who's still arguably his best player and his biggest threat. He had not as much trade value as he had a year ago, but in the past offseason, he still had some trade value. They didn't put him on the market because they need him too badly. And so, therefore, if Tyreek is this version of what Shaq was then, they've proven that they're not going to trade him just because he's petulant or refuses to go
I
back
want
in
to
again.
ask you guys about the hypothetical, though, about, like, what do you do when things escalate to that point where you've got more than any team in the league right now And Asante Samuel's father gave voice to this. Asante Samuel Jr.'s father, Asante Samuel.
Crazy where we are.
Yes.
20 years doing this show. We have to clarify.
That's correct.
It's Asante Samuel's father.
I think Fernando Tatis Jr. is the junior of a junior. I'm not totally sure. I think so. I think I've got that right. But when I tell you of the Dolphins and the chemical ingredients in their locker room, and I say to you that no team in the league, none, comes with the reputation, I don't know if that guy's in control of all that. And that happened quick, Greg. That happened. He went from expectations, mastermind, to show us something, boy genius, and is he overwhelmed? Wait a minute, are these people too strong for him?
Right.
Are these personalities too strong for him? All of that happened quickly. Show me where else in the league it exists. Because I've got the Dolphins here, everybody gathered around saying, how do they go quickly to irrelevant if this thing blows up early in the season? Because the joint practice that they had that echoed from sea to sea is indicative of, yes, things are actually falling apart there before it's even started.
Right. Well, I think that's why they traded Jalen Ramsey, as symbolic of the need for a culture reboot. Jalen Ramsey spends the entire season being petulant, being late, and they said enough already, and they traded him. And you don't see many teams that go public. Right, exactly. The season's just
we know it's a goal of theirs. We know what they're aspiring to. I guess we'll lay out and see the results together.
But this is the reason that I asked you guys the question, because when you start this way with the expectations and everything that happened there, what usually doesn't happen is that the audience is sitting there watching, the customer is watching and being like, Coach, I don't think they respect you. And then Coach comes out and says, well, we're doing this different with the time and this different with the time and this different with the time. Hey, Coach, I don't think they respect you. Like, just because you made a whole bunch of different rules, you're still the same guy they didn't respect before, now just with rules.
So you're skeptical at their ability to pull this off. But, I mean, what are they supposed to do in the public space to convince you
I'm
that they're
saying
changing
they've got a problem at the top of their food chain with a volatile chemical that says, I want to be the leader. And then quarterback says, no, you're not. We don't trust you. Kansas City wouldn't let you get in front of microphones. There are great reasons that no one around here trusts you.
Just to play devil's advocate, arguments against. They didn't just have one malcontent atop their food chain. They had Jalen Ramsey, too, and they got him out of here. And Tua seems to have asserted himself publicly more as a leader, more publicly considered a guy that can maybe rein Tyreek Hill in. I think that's right to be met with skepticism.
It's a super interesting dynamic when that receiver got Tua paid. And now Tua has to go the other way on, nope, I'm the big dog here. I'm the leader. But what happens when I take you out of the offense? Now Waddle's my number one, and no one thinks he's a number one. No one.
Well, but he's a really good number two, and Malik Washington is fast rising. So they have a good wide receiver room. But they do need Tyreek. You're right. But the thing about Mike McDaniel,
the way they need him, though, is interesting. It's like a linchpin on everything.
Yes.
It's a really dangerous chemical to have near the detonation.
Right, and they're relying, a big part of their hope is relying on a big bounce-back year from Tyreek, whose yardage almost went in half
and Waddle.
last season. And Waddle as well. But the thing about criticizing Mike McDaniel too much, he's the same guy who made the playoffs 2 years in a row and scored 70 points against Denver, and then he's the darling of the league. He has 1 8-9 season, and everything blows up.
But, Greg, it's an optics problem. Very obviously, a young man who looks like a young man and who looks like he could be thrown by his ankles into the crowd by any of the people who play for him has the reputation of not being tough enough because he's compassionate and empathetic and he's a nice guy. And he doesn't look the part of football coach, doesn't talk the part of football coach, and now they need him to act like a football coach. And he's here at every point saying, gotta be me. I gotta let my players be them. Look how that got you in trouble. You let them be them, and then they started showing up late. And they do what they want on your time. Like there's a functional lack of respect that's out in public.
Okay, but I think he earned back an inch of that respect when he traded Jalen Ramsey. I think there was respect earned when Tua, on the first day of camp, says Tyreek Hill has to earn back our trust. I think that was huge for Tua to say that, and that's a leadership thing that you say.
Let me ask the group the question. What did you find there, Jeremy? Did you locate something that made your eyes light up?
Fernando Antonio Tatis is the father of Fernando Gabriel Tatis Medina Sr., who is the father of Fernando Gabriel Tatis Medina Jr. So, Dan, you were in fact right. Fernando Tatis Sr. is not actually Fernando Tatis Sr.
So does that mean that the present-day Fernando Tatis in the major leagues is Fernando Tatis Jr.?
So Fernando Tatis Jr. has the exact same name because the maternal name is included. So yes, Fernando Tatis Jr. is the third Fernando Tatis, but he's only the second Fernando Gabriel Tatis Medina Jr.
But they have different middle names, right?
Yes, I didn't know that senior versus junior had to also include the middle name.
That's
I don't
the
know
rule.
if that's the case for
That's the
everybody.
rule.
Is it?
That's the
Is
rule.
that the rule?
That's the
know that.
rule.
Okay.
I don't think that's the rule.
Otherwise,
it's a
you
rule.
use a middle name to differentiate.
Well, that's it. That just becomes a nickname or a different way to say a name, right? You go by
I
your
thought
middle
the
name.
middle name was just an appendage that had no real clout in any way. It was just dangling there. It was second place on the choices of your parents.
I think that there were 3 previous Will Fullers, and that was just their name.
I know, but that became Will Fuller the
Senior,
third.
then
No.
Junior, then the third.
Right, but Fernando
then the
Tatis
fourth.
Jr. is not going by Fernando Tatis the third. Put this on the poll at Le Batard Show. Does the middle name have any clout? And put it on the poll as well at Le Batard Show. Is the middle name just second place for the first name?
Right, he's not going by the third because he's not a third, because the first in line wasn't a Medina Tatis.
I don't
His
believe
dad
that the
was a
middle name
Medina
is in
Tatis.
play here, but I don't know what the audience would register there. I didn't think that the junior had to have the identical middle name.
I think middle names are significant in a lot of families to a lot of people. In my family, both of my sons have middle names that are there for a reason. And I can't speak for everybody, but I don't disrespect the middle name. That's all I'm saying.
Well, but what clout does it actually have?
It doesn't have clout because nobody uses it.
But give it, okay, but give, well, not, no, look, Stephen Smith is not the same as
Smith.
Stephen A.
Right.
Like Stephen Smith, there's an A there for a reason.
Yeah, but nobody knows what it stands for. The A.
There are people who know what it stands
I
for.
don't think so.
What
I think he made it up. I
What
don't think
clout
he even
does
has
the
a
middle name have? I want you to give me one thing the middle name does. One thing you know the middle name to be. Give me something, Greg. I'm looking at you. I'm asking you these questions. You know, you're telling me you think the middle name is something. I'm asking you, give me one thing the middle name is.
The middle name is a continuation of family history and legacy to some. In my case, Christopher's middle name was my father's given first name. Michael's middle name, my other son, is my given first name. And so there's something there that makes me feel good.
So it's just you, is what you're saying. It's your name being passed down. It makes you feel good that your youngest son has your middle name. It's just you giving your son something that he has to hang on to after we've written your tombstone.
I'm just, my tombstone's too full.
Sponsored by DraftKings.
Right. I'm just saying that right now I have a granddaughter. I don't have any grandsons. So, the Cody last name
Wow.
may be in trouble. That's all I'm saying.
Oh,
Get to fucking Chris.
There's a lot in Canada.
Well, I mean, the elongation of my family name.
You go into Canada, everyone's like, "Oh, Cody! Hey,
Oh, yeah.
Cody!
No,
how's it going?"
it's like Smith or Jones.
Yeah.
Cote.
Cote.
Cote, that's right. Yeah. No, that's but here in my case, but why can't my granddaughter take my last name?
Maybe she will.
Yeah, there you go. I'm going to have a talk about that.
I want, yes, please, let's talk more about you. I know you enjoy doing
Thank
that and putting your name wherever it is that you can.
Thank you very
the
much.
Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody available, drops early on Mondays.
Yeah.
We will promote it later in the show.
It's
But
out now.
getting back to the question I was asking you guys. If a coach loses respect optically and actually, can he get it back when he doesn't actually have job security or clout, or when an overthrow, if you start in adversity, will end up with them swallowing you because they don't respect? Oh, now you changed the rules? It was okay for us to be everything that we were before, but now you're changing the rules because you and the GM are on the hot seat now, and because we have a reputation as a team, league-wide, as being soft and the great combination of soft and unmanageable.
Yeah, but soft is on the players. That's not, to me, that's not on the head
No,
coach.
but it's the style of play as well. It's not just, no, it's their style.
Right,
Their offense doesn't travel in December.
I
It's
know.
it's also the style.
It's because they rely on speed more than any other team in the league, and nobody was complaining about that in the middle of 2 seasons ago when they're the
But that's where the
offense.
that's where the reputation comes from. Like, to me, it's unfair to ever call a football team soft, but this one has that reputation, does it not? Is anyone going to dispute me on this?
I would say it did have that reputation, but let's see about this year.
Okay, so they haven't played a game, but they may have changed it, even though, Chubb and Phillips are hurt, and, like they're signing Judon for $6 million.
Good signing.
Yeah, it's a good signing. Like, when you guys tell me, forgive me for bringing up what is rehashed subject matter on chemistry, respect, leadership, but as we head into a football season that risks the job of the GM and the coach, and as the coach's reputation has gone up in flames in a way that needs to be rescued by this season, and even if they start 8-2, no one's going to trust them because of everything that December has brought to this franchise this entire century. They go into this season with him needing to be a leader, and he needs Tyreek Hill, because Chris made a face when I said Jalen Waddle wasn't a number one. He's not a number one. He came here, and it looked like he was a number one. Tyreek Hill made him look like a number one. Then the drop started, and you know that offense is not going to look the same if I take Tyreek Hill out of it. You all know it. No matter what a mastermind the coach is, you all know that if I don't make Tyreek Hill perfectly healthy, if he looks banged up or slower like he did last year, look what happens to the offense. It all falls apart. I don't know if Tua's their most important piece. I really don't.
He is on offense. Devon Achane.
The reason I say it is because I think Tua needs Tyreek Hill more than Tyreek Hill needs Tua. I think Tyreek Hill gets open against anybody. I think Tua needs Tyreek Hill to run that offense so he can throw the ball every time 2 seconds in.
Well, Tyreek Hill's got something to prove, too. He's an aging wide receiver coming off an extremely disappointing season. So he's got something to – everybody's got something to prove. Devon Achane averaged 8 yards a carry as a rookie. Last year it was more of a standard 4-point something. Everybody on that offense has something to prove. Patrick Paul, the left tackle's got something to prove.
Do you guys disagree with what I'm saying, that Tua needs Tyreek more than Tyreek needs Tua?
They need each other,
Yes.
I think. But I mean, we've seen what this offense looks like without Tua, and it's an absolute disaster with a healthy Tyreek Hill. So, but we've also seen the Dolphins last year didn't really do anything when Tyreek was injured all season. So they seem to need each other at this point in their careers, but I don't think one can necessarily succeed without the other.
There was that report from a Dolphin insider that cited sources that said the offense goes to hell when Tua's not out there.
So would you guys agree with me? And I believe that is also so, but when Tyreek has not been quite right and Tua's out there, I've also see them constipated and no longer looking like the offense they looked like that gave us enthusiasm in a fourth quarter against the Ravens and 70 points against the Broncos and put the expectations where they did. Whatever your expectations for the season are, 7.5 is the number for their season, the betting number. Greg Cody, the homer, has written a column saying go over there. We will get to his column in a moment. If we want to do a dramatic reading, I would love anyone to give me the most homerific parts of Greg Cody's most recent column beyond the paywall. But if I tell you right now, whatever your expectations for the season are, I'm not even going to – maybe you've got it at 12 wins. Take just Tyreek Hill out of that. Now where are your expectations? We know that you can't trust their quarterback to stay healthy, but now just take Tyreek Hill out. He can't play. He's suspended. He's hurt. He's traded. Where do your expectations go on this season? Because I believe all the expectations for the Dolphins weren't just that they could win. No, they had the explosive offense. It didn't look like what the Chiefs looked like last year. They had the guy that made them a big play threat, and it's not something they've had since Marino.
I mean, there's a lot of data points that you can pick at. Tyreek Hill didn't look like himself last year. It got off to an inauspicious start, but it's baked into the fabric of this franchise is to his health. He just can't finish a season healthy.
But what's the answer to my question on Hill? How
Without
much?
Tyreek, I mean, they have weapons, right? It all depends on is Jalen Waddle going to be healthy? Malik Washington has looked okay. It's preseason so far. You have no idea what Darren Waller is going to be at this point in time. Ollie Gordon has looked good if he's the number 2.
He was good in college.
Yeah.
Just the Dolphins are more likely to win a game if Tyreek Hill is out injured as opposed to if Tua's out injured because the fall off is crazy.
Yeah, and the Dolphins are not alone in relying super heavily on their best player. What is J.J. McCarthy's chances if Justin Jefferson gets hurt in Minnesota? I mean, there's a dozen teams in the league like that.
Yeah, but usually the risk is of health, and that one's random. This one's got more in it. This one's not just health. This one, you can lose everything that was your head coaching career in the first 4 games if he doesn't actually have control of Tyreek Hill and if he doesn't actually have the respect of Tyreek Hill. And furthermore, if Tyreek Hill has actually lost the respect of those people in the locker room because he did what no one does. At the end of last season when it was down, when Tyreek Hill tells you he's just a winner, all he's known is winning. He loses poorly and throws a temper tantrum in public that every player feels and no player acts on because no other player is quite the baby that this person is.
I'm afraid it feels pretty predictable how the Dolphins season is going to go. It's going to get undone by an injury to their quarterback, and that'll be that. And then they'll have to reevaluate how they want to move forward with this franchise. I know they tried for so long to get somebody with the production of Tua's, but every season there's some sort of scare that makes you wonder if this guy can continue playing football. You have to almost include it in your projections that he's going to miss a few games.
I wouldn't. I mean, he has had one season in 5 where he played all 17 games.
That's bad.
It's bad, but there's no, a law of averages, right? I mean, there's no reason why he can't do it again. The one of the reasons
there is his head. His head. I think that there is plenty of reason why he can't do it is because of all the other injuries that he took.
I'm with my dad. He's due.
Okay,
that's not how the law of averages works.
He holds the ball a shorter amount of time than any other starting quarterback in the league
ever.
Right. So there are things in that offensive formula designed to prevent his getting future concussions. But the reason I think more highly of the Dolphins' chances this year than some do is the first half schedule is really easy. Okay, and then it gets really tough with 3 games in a row, but all 3 of those games are at home. So I think there's a favorable schedule here for them to get off to an encouraging start that foments hope.
Billy, were you making faces at the ability to do 1 loss on the Dolphins schedule?
No, I would love to do win-loss. We can go over it right now if you would like. I was just going to say, I don't know if you guys caught the preseason game on Saturday, but Tua still decides to scramble sometimes, which is kind of like, what are you doing, sir? Why do you continue to do this knowing, especially in a preseason game that means absolutely nothing?
Here is the most homerific paragraph from the Cody column on MiamiHerald.com if you want to go behind the paywall. Tua, yes, Tua. Those are exclamation points. He rarely uses those.
It's true.
It's when he really means it, okay?
Yeah, itals, exclamation points.
Greg Cody does not often use the exclamation point. If number of times in your historic 50-year column career give me a number that you have used the exclamation point, do you believe?
Well, it's a long-ass career, so I would say less than 100. And usually I use it in an ironic sense. Like I use it to over-dramatize how I imagine people are receiving this.
Tua, yes, Tua. The quarterback is a cornerstone. Reason for optimism and hope if you believe he can stay healthy. I do. I really don't know how you can believe that. Like how anybody can. It's not you. I just don't know. I don't know how you can have faith in that. But okay. I do, says Cody. Tua's 38-25, 603 winning percentage as a starter. Justin Herbert, drafted 1 spot later, is 41-38. 52% winning percentage. Tua, in his career, has led the NFL in passing yard, completion percentage, and passer rating. QBs who have not led in all 3 categories in their careers include Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Herbert, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, and Dan Marino. None of this is to put Tua at that level, but to say when healthy, he has the skills to be a top 10 quarterback.
Stop being a homer, bro.
Yeah, every word of that, I believe. When you lead the league in 3 categories, passing yards, accuracy, and passer rating, it shows you have the skill set.
When you say all those guys haven't done it, though, I go, that must not be that important then. Because it was like Burrow, Mahomes,
No, it's just to illustrate.
But are you living in an echo, Greg? Because you could say some of the same things. Like every team that had Carson Wentz.
Not an echo chamber.
Every team that kicked the tires on Carson Wentz as a possible solution was saying similar things.
Okay, I get that. And Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. I know there are anomalies in every formula you use to judge quarterbacks. What I'm saying is that, and we saw it when he was healthy 2 seasons ago and made the Pro Bowl. When Tua is healthy, and granted it's the biggest asterisk in all of sports, when Tua is healthy, he's really, really good. I'm not saying he's, Joe Burrow.
If it's not cold.
Well, you lose a game in sub temperatures in Kansas City. I'm not.
Well, they lose all those games. They lose the game in Kansas City. They lost the game in Green Bay. They
That's
lose
fair.
the game in Buffalo. They do have a cold problem.
Okay, well, so do a lot of teams. Look at Kansas City and Buffalo's home record in December and January. Pretty good. It's not just Miami that goes from hot weather to ice cold and struggles.
The good news is they play Buffalo week 3 at Buffalo, so they're not in the cold. What do you think of that one? Just
I think that could be the
Thursday
only,
nighter.
I think that could be the only game they lose the first half of the season.
Wow, okay.
ideally.
So
Oh, my God.
win at
If-
Indy,
if you're
win
looking
versus
at
New
it-
England, a loss Buffalo, win versus the Jets.
7-1.
Dan and Greg, wouldn't you think that the upset here would be if Tua just finds a way to stay healthy the rest of his career?
Yes, I don't know how Greg can say with any degree of conviction. If it was something you could bet on, he'd be a favorite to get hurt.
Doesn't this one feel obvious? I feel like we've seen this guy on a field scare us enough times, and we've seen some fairly innocuous hits that have led to him being out for extended periods of time. I feel like we can say with certainty at some point that dude's going to become such a liability to put out there that teams are just going to decide he can't be QB1 anymore.
I want to go over with you guys some of the thoughts that I have on a Cowboys documentary here that ended up being big and empty. But one of the things that was in it that was interesting and was one of the few things, actually, I was hoping to learn more during it, that I learned during this. Troy Aikman's concussion problem that made him retire was so bad that he played an entire NFC championship game that he doesn't remember. He still doesn't remember playing in it, played well in it, won it. Got to the Super Bowl because concussions were something that were so primitive back then that if you had 4 in 14 months and he was getting hit a lot in ways that weren't getting concussed.
We didn't do enough with the close of two of those, the faces of that position in that generation, Steve Young and Troy Aikman. This was before concussions became a big thing. They were faces of franchises and literally walked away from the game, and we just kept on moving, and it wasn't until Ben and Amalu and them boys started cooking it up.
Yeah, but now we're going to have with Tua some things that are presented throughout the entirety of his career. Like we're not that far removed from wondering whether he should retire or not. But let's move on to other things because there was a lot of stuff from over the weekend.
Dan, we have closure on something, too. An investigative report. Jeremy has scoured the internet to get us answers on juniors, seniors, trays, and fours.
Ultimately, the way that this works is if you're going to be a junior, you do need the middle name to be a part of it. This is to decipher between people with entirely the same name, first, middle, and last name, or multiple last names. If the father is deceased, that's when you would go with II over junior. And then obviously if you're going with further Roman numerals, it's ultimately further generations. But you would also go with II if it's going to be someone who is named entirely after another relative or person that you know. So there's all of your information.
Can you give me some more information on Tua without Tyreek and Tyreek without Tua?
Yes, I can. Tua Tagovailoa has a passer rating of 90.1 with 4,691 yards, 28 touchdowns, and 15 interceptions in 24 games without Tyreek Hill in his career. Tyreek Hill has had 50 catches for 567 yards and 1 touchdown in the 10 games for the Dolphins without Tua. So 5 catches for 56 yards and a tenth of a touchdown per game.
In other words, Tyreek needs Tua more than Tua needs Tyreek. It's irrefutable. Thank you, Jeremy.
One is
Good
stinky
work.
and the other is truly terrible.
Now look up Tyreek's numbers with and without Patrick Mahomes. And then we can see if Tua is better than Patrick Mahomes.
Among the things that happened over the course of the weekend is Avery Johnson, the quarterback for Kansas State, that we learned together in an embarrassing public apology from Mike Ryan that he is mixed and not Scandinavian. It was a very confusing controversy from last week. Greg Cody doesn't know about it, so if you guys in the back room want to get Avery Johnson and that photo that had him looking like Dolph Lundgren, really, like Nordic, really, in nature. And then we learn that, no, he's mixed. And not only is he mixed, but... and this one is going to be something that we can't play the video because there are a couple of videos from this weekend in sports that we simply can't play. One of them is Rampage Jackson's son, and a video that's might end up looking like you're witnessing a murder, a snuff film, because it's not even funny. It's just violence of the highest order. And then this story is, I think, just kind of funny and reminded me of Zaslow, who doesn't have any control over his kids, because Avery Johnson's father, it was an amazing headline to see, honestly. I didn't even understand it. I had to reread it a couple of times when I saw it. Avery Johnson's father in fistfight with other son. And so the video is of a father and a son just fighting outside of the game. Football's back, people. The violence is back.
Oh, so bad.
Kansas State lost. Kansas State lost with their quarterback. What are you shrugging your shoulders about and moving away from the microphone for?
No, I'm looking at that photo and trying to process it. Like, who's hitting who?
We
What's
can't
going
play.
on?
We cannot play the video here. We introduced you to Avery Johnson last week. We can't play the video because of, again, violence concerns. But it is a father. And that father appears to be beating up the son, right? The other son is getting beat up. The other, Avery Johnson's brother, is getting beat up there.
Resets a clock for 6 months, according to the Zaslow Mansion rules.
I texted Zaslow this weekend because Zaslow's son, 16 years old, referred to him as sugar tits the other day. And I just texted him, Zaz, when your son says to what you think looks like the father that you are sugar tits, you are now the older brother. You have ceased being the father. Do any of you have parental relationships that would end up in a fight with one of your kids? My brother and I were always afraid of my father. We were afraid of his old man burst. I'm still a little afraid of it. He's in his early 80s, and my father has a burst in him of rage, of old Cuban rage, that if I were going to fight him, I better make sure to take out his stamina because he's going to come at me, and I'm still a little afraid of it.
Yeah, you're going to outrun him. That's what'll take out his stamina.
I'm going to have to do something, but do any of you have the relationship that would escalate to a physical one under any circumstance with your father?
No, my dad's never wanted that noise.
I mean, I haven't had a fist fight since middle school.
No, but I've seen you when you get upset, and I've seen you when you and your son get physical, and I know you to be thinking that you're 20 years younger than you are, so you probably... Who wins a fight, you or your son?
I mean, I think hopefully he would let me win if he cares about his inheritance. But I do possess old man strength. That's a thing. OMS, that's like a thing, which I
asked you a question. Who would win a fight between you and your son? You're 70.
Okay, I cannot envision anything happening that would have us come to blows.
You've gotten really mad at me at times.
I've seen it. I've seen it when he grabs your elbow. I've seen it when you grab his elbow, and it gets...
We're elbow grabbers.
Okay, the only time I would be physically violent with either of my sons is if they have me in an arm lock and I say, let me go twice, and they don't, and then I'm going to come at them with an elbow that might aim a little bit high.
My dad's thing always been when we like rappy cack around, that's what he calls it, rappy cacking. He'd be like, I'll break your arm. I'll break it off.
Oh.
That's his thing. I don't know, what is a rappy
What
cack?
is a rappy cack? Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Have you ever used the word rappy cack? Do you know anyone who has ever used the word rappy cack?
I do.
And I thank you, Greg.
Okay.
We're clear on that.
Not just me. I got it from someone.
How would you spell Rappy Cack?
Rappycack.
And what is it? His wheelhouse, baby. The Rappy Cack wheelhouse. And what can you tell us is the formal definition of to Rappy Cack?
All right, if a head coach goes, we're going to Rappy Cack that team. Are you kidding me?
The very first thing that shows up on Google when you search for it is a Le Batard Reddit post from 6 years ago asking if Rappy Cack is a reference to a 1992 Buffalo Bills fan group. But I will keep looking.
Rappy Cack originated.
I have
think-
it as horseplay, not to cut you off.
I've never heard the word before, Rappy Cack.
I've never heard you say it in context of like that team's gonna Rappy Cack them. It's always like, quit playing around, stop Rappy. Like
Next
you guys
one is a
Rappy Cack.
tweet from Greg Cody in November 21st of 2017. Lobos update. Greg's Lobos Rappy Cack Allison 109.9 to 93.4.
There you go.
So wait
What
a
a
minute. So
route.
you're telling me you're searching the entirety of
This is all of the internet, Dan.
the internet as our information guy, and the only two proofs that you have that there is a word that it's not a word. What do you?
It is a
Old
word.
English origins.
Who did you hear from? You were about to tell
He
us.
can't find on the internet any references to anyone using the
No,
word.
what he's found is evidence that Greg is keeping it alive.
Is this
almost
another?
single-handedly.
Is this another Alan Cherry joint?
No.
I found one from December 11th, 2017 also, Greg. Stunning. Dolphins beating Patriots 27-20. Yeah, that too, I guess. But I meant number 8 seed Greg's Lobos rallying behind Jarvis Landry to Rappy Cack, Chris Cody, 120 to 117.4.
Back in my day, featuring Inflight magazines.
In-flight magazines. Slayed the pandemic. Traveling again. Big bird up. But something's different. I look in the seat pocket in front of me, and all I see is that cardboard pamphlet about the plane that nobody reads, the drink menu nobody needs, and the barf bag. Where's my in-flight magazine? Where did it go? Joni was right. Don't it always seem to go? You don't know what you got till it's gone. They paved paradise, put up a parking lot, and then stole my in-flight magazine. These staples of Americana predated even Greg Cody. Pan Am Airways published the first IFM in 1940. Now the high-flying mags are disappearing like donuts in a press box. Southwest Rag, augustly called simply The Magazine, is gone now. Delta Sky, gone. American Way, gone. Retired after 55 years. Alaska and Emirates Airlines, too, gone. Airline magazines falling from the sky one by one. Some others, like United Hemispheres, are now digital only. Blame the pandemic. COVID killed the in-flight magazine, or rather gave airlines an excuse to make a cutback like businesses did with remote meetings where the office buildings used to be. But more than that is to blame. The digital era stampeded the helpless handheld mag. In-flight entertainment and mobile browsing happened. Airlines have even claimed noble reasons for discontinuing their magazines, like how removing all of them makes planes lighter, which saves on fuel. Sounds like malarkey. Hurtling cabins once were full of rattling newspaper pages held wide. Then those disappeared, and then I was the last flyer still leafing through an in-flight magazine while everybody else was softly chuckling at a movie or listening to music with earbuds. I miss every bit of the airline magazine, the greeting from the airline president, the Penn and Teller at the Rio ad, the dating and hair restoration ads, and the one inviting me to invest in a home care franchise, things to do in Minneapolis, the list of top 10 steakhouses and America's best plastic surgeons, the crossword puzzle inevitably half-finished and poorly by a previous seat occupant. Oh, and the feature story on Southwest Customer Service Agent of the Month. You can't get that anywhere else. Most of all, I miss, anybody else remember Sky Mall? Oh, my gosh. It was Amazon before Amazon, only at 30,000 feet. Talk about built-in marketing. Bored flyers stuck in a cabin for 3 hours slamming cocktails are liable to buy anything, which Sky Mall offered. I'll never forget the time, after 3 or 4 deep eddies, I accidentally bought a life-size Bigfoot garden gnome for $2,250. Airlines, I will gladly pay extra if the bag I check is a pound too heavy. I'll put up with your cancellations and with a hot meal being replaced by a 1-ounce bag of pretzels. Just please give me back my Inflight magazine. See, I never played that Sudoku puzzle, but I sure did like knowing it was there. I'm Greg Cody, and that's how it was back in my day.
The game has changed. Weed is legal now with Stugotz and Greg Cody.
I'll tell a story if it makes you feel better.
Yeah.
When I first took the first edible I ever took.
This episode is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
That was excellent.
Thank you.
You are on fire today.
I mean it, man.
Chris, what did you repeat to your father moments before we turned the microphones on, and he did that maximum professionally?
Right above that line he just read, it says Billboard, DraftKings, and I thought maybe he was going to read that part out as well.
And so you told him not to read out loud the word
A
billboard?
little last-minute coaching, which I probably shouldn't have done. Just let him cook.
No, you should have. Yeah, you should have let him, because if he would have read billboard, it might have led to something funny there.
I might have read it had he not told me that.
I think you would have.
I would have thought Billboard magazine was a sponsor of the show. That's all.
I want the inheritance. That's why.
Is there still a Billboard magazine?
Oh yeah, I read it religiously. I follow the charts.
What are we looking at in terms of inheritance for Christopher?
I don't think we want to go
That's
there.
a good
Really?
question.
I want to.
And what's the split? Do we trust Michael yet? Because at one point it's like you're just going to get it all, and you can kind of divvy it up.
Oh wow, you're
I
the
don't think we
responsible
ever
brother.
said that.
I am the responsible one.
Oh boy.
No, Christopher used to be the responsible. Michael's catching up.
Really?
Michael's gaining ground on that.
Any thoughts on just skipping a generation, maybe leaving it to old Graceland? You
Yeah,
know, in a trust or
that's-
something?
that's being considered.
It'll funnel down.
Yeah, that's being considered. It'll be a protected, heavily protected trust that Christopher can't get his hands on. But, you know, we haven't gone there yet. We're just thinking about it. It also depends on how nice my granddaughter treats me for the next few years.
It is a little awkward in that because my mom honestly does sometimes like, hey, you know, just will stuff, just, you know, just in case type stuff. But like I've never met, like I don't really know as much as I feel like I should know. Like I feel like if something were to happen to you guys, your money guy could just like take me to the woodshed.
Yeah, I know you're always asking for like an itemized.
I just want to go to this meeting with you so this guy knows I exist. Like, hey, if something happens to them, I'm the face.
I'm your guy.
And I know how much.
Okay.
All right? No funny business, you.
Okay, all right.
Are you all set up like I mean, obviously this is very morbid. We don't mean to go down, but like, should an accident happen with both you and your wife, is that all set up, or is Christopher going to have to plan like the ceremonies and all of that?
In other words, do we have a living will? What is that? Like,
have you done anything?
Do you have plots? Do you have like arrangements? Do you have set deciders? Like, does Chris then have to start driving up to like funeral homes and like, I'd like to find your best plot for 2, please?
You know, my wife handles all that. I don't
great.
know.
All right,
so no one knows anything.
All right, let me be clear on something here, okay? He is exactly the person who threatens you all his life with not giving you his inheritance and then doesn't handle the paperwork before dying. So I don't believe he's done anything. I don't believe he knows anything. I believe his wife has to handle all this. He hasn't done any estate planning. So what's going to happen after he dies is your brother's going to have his middle name, and the rest of you are going to fight over what's left.
I think what's going to happen is like they're going to pass, and then there's going to be like the meeting for the will, and no one's going to have remembered the guy's name because no one's met him. So he is going to get everything. Like, he's going to be in an empty room. It's like, Christopher, Michael, Grayson, where's everybody?
Like, anytime I ask about this, my dad kind of is like, what are you trying to? And I'm like, no, I just want to be informed. You're getting old.
Greg. These are the conversations I've been having with my father recently. He does not like them either. But you do have to plan these things if you want to make sure your family isn't fighting over your things at the end.
Yeah. I got to talk to my wife about that.
Luckily for us, my mom
get right on
has
it.
started all that. So.
Okay.
But you don't know any of it.
You don't know.
I know I have a big binder.
Wait, you presently have a binder?
Yeah, it's like
can you
Can you bring
open
it in tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll bring it in.
Bring that in
please.
tomorrow.
Well,
We'll
let's
see.
get
Let's
to the
help you
bottom
through
of
this.
this.
We're not bringing in the binder.
You don't
Why
even
not?
know what's in there.
It's a secret binder.
No, you don't know what's in the binder.
Little secret documents.
We should have an oral contract.
It's one of those binders with like the string thing that you close it up with.
Oh, yeah.
No,
See,
it's very
it's
important.
Sounds like you're getting a lot, man.
It's a dossier.
Chris deserves to know. All right, I want to talk about Avery Johnson and I want to talk about Shedeur Sanders, but first we need to get to uncomfortable moments because this is Sooie week, and uncomfortable moments is always a rich category. And anytime I hear us recording these around here, something funny reminds me that the last year was a lot better than I thought it was. Something funny is about to appear here. We'll see who wins this category. What's the voting situation, Chris? What are we doing in terms of crowning winners? Because we've been pretty loose over the years on this.
It's the 2025 Sooie Awards presented by Miller Lite. To cast your vote, you go to lebatardaf.com and vote there. All the categories will be there as we release the categories. The winners will be announced next Tuesday, September 7th. This is very exciting. Coming out of the gates with a strong category, most uncomfortable moment from this year of shows.
Welcome to the 2025 Sooie Awards, presented by Miller Lite. I'm Greg Cody, and let's dive right in with the Sooie nominees for Most Uncomfortable Moment. Jeremy Taché talks weird, and everyone jumps down his throat.
If you think that your family would get a lot of joy from seeing you go to the Hall of Fame and they're getting up there in age,
Why are
it's
you
like
talking
your
like that?
parents? Well, because I'm asking a kind of dark question.
Right.
Do you just sort of
a board or something?
Let's spin
take a
the
dive
wheel.
early?
Let's
Or
spin the wheel.
Everybody was just
I don't know what
shut
he was
you up
doing.
by doing
I
this.
didn't
thing.
even get
Like,
to start.
You didn't even.
It's amazing.
Okay.
It's off the ground.
I'm sorry. I was struggling to follow what you were doing. I'm kind of happy everyone just started talking.
a sentence.
Wild.
Jeremy,
This is amazing.
Sound goes
I've
off.
never
of
seen
this
anything
guy.
like it.
Well,
It's what it sounded like to me.
What was
Pretty amazing.
A board
Yeah,
or
I know.
something.
All right. Enjoy the rest of the show.
I feel bad. This is not.
I'm sorry, man.
I think this is
chalk
bullying,
nails.
but
This feels
board
like
or
bullying.
you deserve it if we're gonna be
I've
honest.
never
Yeah.
seen that before, where some dude is talking, doing
Right.
a thing, and everyone else just like moves on with their lives and has their other
Well,
conversations.
Mike, did we miss it? Like, should he try it again?
Honestly, I don't remember what he said. It was so boring.
Chris Cody insults Michael S. Schmidt of the New York Times.
Show me the most meaningful of the Piazza balls.
Oh boy.
No, they're not the Piazza balls. These are balls that my stepson hit.
Oh, okay. So I misunderstood.
Even less interesting.
You know what? No, let's show me the best of your stepson's baseballs.
These are. This is just we do batting practice, and I throw to him, and we track the amount of balls that he hit.
Right.
Chris, what are you judging his
Batting
fatherhood?
practice
What
balls.
what
Do
are
it in a game.
What are,
I
what are
mean-
you guys doing? Why can't he
That's
have this
all we're saying.
relationship with his son
He
without
can.
you judging it?
He can.
You're just clarifying.
That was the point
I'm sorry, Michael Schmidt.
Yeah, Michael
For all
Jack.
of this,
yeah.
for your allergies.
Yes.
David Sampson knows too much about Paul Pierce.
And a little nugget about Paul Pierce. He likes when you call him daddy.
Okay, I didn't know that part.
Well,
maybe
in
I'm
what
not.
context are you spending time
TMI.
with Paul Pierce?
Maybe
Tell us
I'm
more,
not
David.
as good a friend of Paul Pierce as I once thought.
What is this loon giggling about? What do you mean? He likes when you call him daddy. What kind of contribution is that? You grinning fool?
Are you Paul Pierce, David?
What? Like what? Yeah, but, wait, what's that? What are you snorting in the middle of the segment where you're saying that about Paul Pierce? What's the matter with you?
Answer the man's question.
Answer it.
Calling someone daddy and making sweet, passionate love are two totally different things.
Yes or no?
Sometimes
I'm a
Not talking about
hard
love.
no on that.
Put it on the poll.
You're hard.
Put it on the poll, Juju.
Heyo.
Hard no.
Is making sweet, passionate love and calling someone daddy different?
Dan Le Batard disrespects Black History Month while talking to P.K. Subban.
Dan, it's his list and it's Black History Month, so maybe
Exactly. So you know what?
Stop talking shit.
Thank you very much.
That's valid,
exactly.
Jessica.
Anything
Jessica,
goes
for
right
that.
now, guys.
True ally, Jessica. I appreciate you. Dan, you're out of line.
I will not respect Black History
You will
Month.
not
What?
respect Black
Whoa,
History Month.
whoa,
Oh,
whoa,
wow.
No, wait.
Clip that.
Clip that. Come on, man.
That
Clip
much?
it.
You guys
No.
clipped me saying
Take out that much.
We all heard what you said.
That much? You guys didn't even let me get it out.
9 days.
Hey,
I
We
felt
got
it
nine
long
days
before you
that's
said it.
That's a respectful top five, though. You got to respect that top five.
It is.
I do, but I don't have to
Dated,
respect
but-
it because of Black History Month.
Dan Le Batard won't stop calling Greg Cody a senile old man.
I don't worry about him being exposed as a senile old man if I can
Quit repeating senile
Yeah,
old man.
what is that?
Why do you keep
What's
repeating
going
that?
on here?
That's terrible.
Yeah.
You shouldn't keep doing
pick one
that.
of them. You're right to
It's
take offense.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
It's unfair.
I'm actually offended
You
that
should
that
be.
kid in a white hat who's done nothing in his life. I don't know what he did. I don't know what he did.
He's
What did
one
he
of the-
do before spitting into
One
a
of the better
microphone?
voices
Yeah,
in the,
okay.
in the
Voice
hockey media sphere.
honestly.
Okay. But I'm offended that he called me a senile old man, and I don't need you propping up that phrase.
Okay.
Next
But
thing
he's
I
a
know,
senile old man.
it's going to be on a Le Batard T-shirt. That's the way it works.
I mean,
around
that's a
here.
great idea, and you shouldn't have given us that.
But he's a senile old man.
Mike Tyson takes it to a dark place with a kid reporter.
Well, in your return to the ring for this fight, you are setting a monumental opportunity for kids my age to see the legend Mike Tyson in the ring for the first time. What type of legacy would you like to leave behind when it's all said and done?
Well, I don't know. I don't believe in the word legacy. I just think that's another word for ego. That's just some word everybody grabbed onto. Now it's used every 5 seconds. It means absolutely nothing to me. I'm just passing through. I'm going to die, and it's going to be over. Who cares about legacy after that? What a big ego. So I'm going to die. I want people to think that I'm this, I'm great. No, we're nothing. We're just dead. We're dust. We're absolutely nothing.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. That is something that I have not heard before, someone say that as an answer.
Can you really imagine somebody say, I want my legacy to be this way when you're dead? You think somebody really wants to think about you? I want people to think about me when I'm gone. Who the cares about me when I'm gone?
Ronnie Chang didn't realize Pablo Torre worked with Dan Le Batard on Pablo Torre Finds Out.
What I want to keep prodding at, though, is the genuine.
Is this a big thing in the sports journalism subculture?
At a company that Dan owns and operates that I work for, it's very much an inter-office.
Oh, you work at the same company?
I should say that.
Oh, I didn't know
I should have
that.
probably disclosed that legally.
No. What, Meadowlark?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, so he works for Meadowlark?
Dan, yeah, he founded it.
Oh, he founded this thing? Well, why the am I here then?
I was going to say, you probably shouldn't
You probably
have done
should have,
this.
yeah, you should have opened with that. I thought this was like your own thing. No, I didn't know that. That's why you're so interested. I see.
Yeah.
I see. No,
yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
know that it was the same company. But that goes to show that's how little, like, I hold grudges about this. You know what I mean? I don't
Truly.
Yeah.
What I was going to try.
Hey, Dan, can we get a new chair?
I know.
This is Dan paid for this. Get this on camera. This is the level. This is where we're at. ESPN to this. Now.
The jerk-off between David Sampson and Darren Ravel.
Is this a business off? Is it a respect off?
It's a jerk off.
Yeah.
Whoa.
There's a lot of things this is, and that's not one of them.
You're both being jerks to each other. It's a jerk off.
It is a jerk off.
Yeah.
That was not part of the contract with the airline.
Greg Cody reading 50 Shades of Grey. Darn tootin'. Only me. You want it? You got it, baby. I growl, shipping out the prophylactic and unzipping my pantaloons, making quick work of covering my doohickey. I stare down at the insatiable Miss Steele. I sure hope you're ready, I warn her, grabbing hold of her wrists and keeping them at her sides. With one swift move, I'm inside her whatchamacallit. Ah, goodness me, Anna, you're so ready. I mean, Andrew Hawkins misspeaks.
Everybody was wondering. They was wondering, Hawk, when was your era? It was 2003. That's when I came into myself. Hey, yo, that's crazy. That's wild.
Greg Cody's voice does strange things to Billy. My wife says this is a sexy voice.
It really is.
Yeah.
I'm hard.
Thank you. Wow. So am I, actually. I don't know why. Dan Le Batard ruins the end of the interview with Larry Charles. on South Beach Sessions.
June 17th is when it's available. Comedy Samurai, 40 years of blood, guts, and laughter. Larry, a pleasure. It's been a pleasure to
great
watch
meet
your
you,
work,
my friend.
sir.
My brother's name is Dan, by the way.
Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything
I
to me,
know.
Larry. There's
it
nothing
means something to me. But I'm very happy to meet you.
Likewise. And I
Thank
feel
you.
like I just ruined everything we just did because of that as my punctuation, by insulting you, by not caring
You have
that
to
your
go for
brother's
it.
name is Dan.
You have to go for it. Well, because you're also right in a way. It doesn't matter. You know, I mean, I wanted to share that with you, and so I shared
Well,
it.
you wanted to share it, and then I just rejected
You
it.
shit on it.
I
Yeah, you
totally
did.
just
You
ruined
did.
everything
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
end.
Well,
It was intimate. It was vulnerable. It was a lovely conversation. And I'm like, I don't care about your fucking
You
brother,
can
Dan.
cut it out.
No, leave it in. I insist you leave it in. The more awkward, the better.
Dan Patrick welcomes the Dan Le Batard Show into the Peacock family.
Well, if you think our show is bad, wait till you get a load of this show. It's the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz, and you can see it right after our show on Peacock. Boy, is it good.
Early 20th.
Hey, and
Ethels?
Dan.
You're not going to come
Well,
up.
her name was actually
Dan Le Batard joins us now, I believe.
Yeah, put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Are we still making Ethels?
Dan.
Did we ever? And put that on. Did we ever? Well, we did make Merman. We made Ethel Merman.
But she wasn't even an Ethel.
Dan, can you hear
she
me?
was. There was another one that was Vivian.
Hey, Dan.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's Dan Patrick here.
Sorry we interrupted you. Professional as always, Dan.
Once again, I led in with the tagline, I think, for your show. If you think our show is bad, wait till you get a load of Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz. What do you think?
What kind of intro is that? You're supposed to welcome me into the family.
I did until I couldn't get your attention. I was going to say nice things. And then
I've got a bad executive producer.
Okay. Join the club.
Oh. Dan Le Batard asks NASCAR driver Ryan Blaney, what is the worst part of the life?
What is the worst part of the life?
The worst part? Wrecking. That sucks.
That's a good answer.
That sucks. Like that's the worst thing ever.
Poppy Le Batard translates Spanish music lyrics.
Te suelto el pelo.
I will let your hair loose.
Te quito la camisa.
I will take off your shirt off.
Tu pantalón.
Oh, you're also your panties. Y después te dejo la completa.
Not your panties, just your pants. Not your panties.
It's a 2-for-1 there, Dano. Come on, it's a 2-for-1.
Pantalón, okay.
They were not your panties, Dad. They were
slacks.
They were slacks. No, take off your slacks.
I'll take off your slacks.
Dan Le Batard tries to give away a gift from a coworker.
Because we get a lot of stuff sent to us, like DeMar DeRozan socks. I get in today, and on my desk is the baseball cap I am presently wearing. And I did not recognize it. And so I walked out into the other room, and I just asked, does anybody want this? And I'm standing right next to Izzy. And with a nice comedic pause, Izzy says, that was my Christmas gift to you.
The best part was you didn't just say, what is this? You said, who wants this?
Right.
It was like, not only were you curious
No.
about it,
Yes.
very quick, I need to get this out of, give this away.
And now he's overcompensating by wearing the hat that he was trying to give away before the show. I mean,
Classic guilt hat. How is that going to stay on?
Yep, and I'll wear it for a month now. I mean,
looks great on you. Slimming.
Not so much.
No.
Stugotz calls Texas A&M head coach Mike Elko ugly.
you know, you might win the game, but you're not going to win best looking coach. Okay, like you know that, right?
What?
What are you talking about?
What is that question?
The guy across the sideline from you.
Where
The guy
are we going
across the
with
sideline, Mike.
I thought that competition was still wide open.
I happen to find Coach Elko to be very attractive.
No, I'm very attractive, man. I do too, but Marcus Freeman is the best looking person I've ever seen, period.
All right, now this is getting really uncomfortable.
Don't worry, Coach. Coach Freeman can blow an easy game. We've seen that over the years.
Oh, gee.
Dominique Foxworth starts the Keenan Thompson interview with a spicy question.
Keenan Thompson is here to join us. Thank you, sir.
What's good with y'all? Good morning.
Chilling. We're having a good time. I wanted to start with you with Morgan Wallen. I saw him walk off the set. Who did he call the N-word, and why didn't you punch him?
Hilarious. What happens when Dan ain't on the show?
This is just anything goes, man.
So I'll be clear with you, Keaton. I had an interview earlier where I interviewed Steve Williams, Tiger's former caddy, and I did an awful thing. I asked him poor questions, and then I moved my microphone while he was answering the question, and I hit this button. While he was answering a question, it was a complete mistake.
No.
So I'm reeling right now, Keaton. I'm reeling. And I'm like, you know what? I got a big star coming up in Keaton Thompson. I'm about to have a hell of an interview. I'm going to start it off with a spicy question.
That's right. That's mad spicy. To answer your question, I don't know. It's how he's feeling, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if he realized what he was doing.
Jarrett Payton tells the story of Dan Le Batard not recognizing him.
And the next thing you know, I'm watching you walk towards me and I'm going, took me back to Coral Gables, 305. I'm just like, holy cow, it's Dan Le Batard walking towards me. And he knows who I am. Like he has to. He watched me grow up, as a kid, breath smelling like Similac in Miami and Coral Gables. I'm like, he knows me. Like, and when you walked up to me so gentle, you're like, sir, do you know where I can find a bathroom? And it was that moment where I was like, oh man, Dan, he doesn't know who I am. He has no clue. He don't know me. Maybe I've grown up a little bit. Maybe he didn't have the fake diamond studs in my ear from when I was in Miami. Maybe, I don't know what it is. And I didn't know what to say to you, Dan, but I go, you know what, sir? Just to let you know, I don't work here. And you go, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I said, this is going to make it even more awkward. I'm Jarrett Payton. You're like, oh my gosh. And doing exactly what you're doing right now. It was like you saw a ghost when I told you this.
Racist! Billy Gill has a spicy question for Ohio State quarterback Kyle McCord on God Bless Football.
Billy, you're going to love this because it's my understanding that Kyle has a flavored potato chip. Is that accurate, Kyle? You do, don't you? You have a flavored potato chip, don't you? Yeah.
What's the flavor? What does Kyle taste like?
Wow, Billy. Wow.
Oh, man. It's like a sharp cheddar honey barbecue.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Nice. Yeah, I know. It's legit.
David Sampson's strange admission to start his interview.
The great David Sampson's in the building. What up, David?
How are you? I wish I were in the building.
Yeah.
Sadly, I'm just on a little square, but my voice is strong and my bottom is fresh.
Nope.
Okay. There we go. Love that you got a
flea flicker. Every first down. That's how we start.
Oh, I love you, man.
It's a loaded category. How many categories do we have this year? I heard Greg Cody in here taping all of the voiceovers for this. He was exhausted, but honored. Honored to be the longtime voice of the Sooies. Who would you guys nominate there for your discomforts? Which one made you the most squeamish?
Billy brought it strong at the end there. I was pretty awkward with that writer about his stepson's batting practice balls.
I forgot all about that one. That one was hard to relive.
That was good.
That one and Keenan Thompson were very difficult.
You were wincing. You were cringing. You were hiding from the microphone. You were retreating.
You can't just let the guy say his brother's name is Dan.
Yeah.
Like
that
in
was
that
funny.
spot.
You did well there. That wasn't awkward. That was actually polished.
What's the worst part of the life is still like that's the number one hit on the Billboard charts. It might not win, but it's the most popular one. That's for sure.
It's really good. All right, we've got a number of different things that I have wanted to get to. I still haven't fully discussed this Avery Johnson story. The father and the other son have released a joint statement to on3.com. We sincerely apologize for our actions following yesterday's football game in Ireland. Senseless bickering escalated into an unnecessary fight. fight. Mark and Anthony wrote in the statement, "We have resolved our differences and take full responsibility for our actions. We have apologized to our immediate and extended family and now extend our apologies to Kansas State University, its alumni, and fans." I will say that as a symbol, the free-for-all that college sports has become, the father and a son fighting in the parking lot as the college quarterback is playing inside or afterward, that the AAU-ness of it all, the high school meets college, and now there's a lot of money. So you're not only going to get it there, you're going to get Halliburton's dad involved in the games in the NBA Finals. Some of this family stuff is just going to leak into our lives here because of some of the things that you invite near your huddle with the business of all this.
Ireland. That seems like Ireland. Down to the, we're good, wrapping your arms around one another after saying we probably got too far out ahead of ourselves there. That was not a good look.
We're like 2 months away from Thanksgiving. That's gonna be weird. You just come we talked it out. We're good now, and then you just forget that you were punching each other in a puddle in Ireland.
How old does a kid have to be? A kid guy? I don't know. Is this like a grown adult son? Because that's the part. Is there a line here of where's the line? How old does the kid have to be?
How old is he?
For this not to be on the other side of the line.
How old is he? And let's, if we can for just a moment, examine this, because you guys say, what is Thanksgiving going to be like? My guess is that might be capable of happening during Thanksgiving or in a previous Thanksgiving, because I'm guessing we didn't catch him the first time it's happened. Do you guys think that that's their relationship? Or I understand saying it's Ireland, but once it escalates to that, trust me when I say that if it escalated to that with my father in some form, we wouldn't just go back to normal. This has to be at least something close to normal. It doesn't, it may be drinking involved, but that's fuel. That's not,
This is an older brother. That makes it a little better for me. It's still not good. I mean, come on. It's as opposed to being a 14-year-old. It's better. This is not good. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying better that he's an older brother than a younger brother.
It would be a wild
If it was a younger
place.
brother, that's his borderline.
Honestly, he should have won the fight. Looking at the two of them, I couldn't believe that Pops was beating the crap out of him in that puddle. He should have been winning that fight. It was a bad look. They say that this is behind them. This is probably an unpopular thing. Shouldn't be endorsing this or putting it out there. He's got to get a shot at his dad. He's got to stand up for himself and not have that be the lasting legacy as him, in a puddle getting beat by his father. He needs to have a new fight video where he's beating his father.
This becomes sadder the older you make the older brother.
Yes.
The
Chris, dad. Yeah.
How old are the father and the son here having this particular interaction? Because Mike, you think I'm making some sort of a leap in saying, with everything that's changing in college sports that makes it so that Nick Saban can't exist today, somebody who's just lording over the program with all of the control, and there are punitive measures that will not allow you to transfer you and your family to another $1 million economy. You don't think that if I put all of that, the business of that around Ja Morant or Halliburton or a college quarterback, or if I'm inviting family economies to our star player now makes $3 million a year, you don't think that I'm bringing a level of professionalism that's going to get undercut by the young people and the economics that have no rules around collage football right now that anyone can follow?
No, Ireland. What does this have to do with the business of college football? A dad and an older brother can fight and it be a family squabble anywhere, and it has nothing to do with NIL or the business of college football. I would say it has more to do with Ireland.
It can stand. It can stand alone as being Ireland, or it could be a hell of an introduction to this series. Again, another season of just wonderful lawlessness in college football. It could
be certainly an image that you attach to the lawlessness of college football. I think college football right now would try to argue that we actually have laws in place. I think that taking the opportunity to lump this in with NIL and the business of college football.
The reason I'm doing it is because college football started this weekend, and I'm not talking about the game, and I don't think people are either. It's yeah, great, college football's here. Don't expect either of those teams to contend for anything meaningful. And also, here's the one story I'm taking from that game, the one that can take me through to another college football game when I can talk about all the shit that excites me, that's entertainment around college football that isn't actually college football.
When have you ever seen that? You're right to talk about it. When have we ever seen the star quarterback's dad fight with a brother in a puddle? I've never seen that before in my life.
I love it as a symbol.
College football for me hasn't started yet. There was a pretty good game last night or Saturday night. Nobody cares who won. College football starts next weekend with 2 mega games Saturday and a mega game Sunday night in Miami Gardens. As far as this fight goes, I think the age of the father and son is all that matters, because if you have a 30-year-old son fighting a 52-year-old dad, nobody's worried about that.
52 and 25 is my greatest guess. I don't know for sure, Dan.
Okay,
it's not on the internet, but I'm just...
If that's the case, I think it's a fair fight, so to speak. But
So if me and you get into it, it's just, that can happen.
no, because I'm 70. If you fight me, nobody's on your side.
Right.
You're picking on an old
Elderly
guy.
abuse.
It's hard. There's no bios attached for the family involved, but we know that this is Avery Johnson's older brother, and Avery Johnson is 20.
I'm guessing 23, and the dad, early 50s.
Okay,
There
that's
you
fair.
go.
That's a fair
That's
fight.
fair?
Yeah, that's a fair fight. 53, you're not old yet. You're still feeling it.
You guys have a different dad situation than I do. If you're thinking that any of that is okay, normal, something that is normal inside of a family, like that would happen once in my family and never again.
You have to know who instigated it, right? You have to know the cause of this, because if I get into a physical fight with my son and I think he started it or he's at fault, if I don't get an apology from him, then it may fester. Then it may still be going on at Thanksgiving.
It may be irresponsible, but that's a hell of a time to ever have your first physical altercation with everyone from Kansas State around you.
I want to interview them. I don't want a joint statement. I want to ask about the family dynamics. I've got a lot of follow-up questions here.
All right, let's work on that.
All right.
I'm sure they're in the mood to talk.
What if you only get one? You need both?
Can we get Iowa State?
Either of them.
Can we get Rocco Beck, the Iowa State quarterback, to fight his dad, Anthony Beck, former NFL player? That'd be cool.
They are committed to ensuring this doesn't happen again.
Wow, commitment. How about
Okay,
that?
but I've got some follow-up questions. We'll move on.
Puddle placement's unfortunate. You'd agree?
Yeah.
The
Showy.
Cleveland Browns quarterback situation, it is laughably funny that a couple of weeks ago they just sort of announced, Joe Flacco's our starter. That gives you no hope right off the start. He's going to have a couple of good games. He's going to have a couple of games where he throws 4 interceptions, and that can't be your starting quarterback in today's league. That has to be somebody who comes off your bench for 4 or 5 games. Regardless, Warren Sharp has these stats, the final preseason stats for Shedeur Sanders. 3 completions, 2.3 yards per attempt, a net of minus 27 yards on 11 dropbacks, and 5 sacks. And the context he adds here is that he has 9 years of play-by-play preseason stats, and Shedeur Sanders is the only quarterback to take 5+ sacks on fewer than 15 dropbacks in any preseason game. I've told you that I do very bad quarterback analysis. I get it wrong all the time because I find kind of puzzling how these people do the science of measuring whether these people have a future at the position that, if developed over years, can make it so that they can play that game, which is unbelievably fast and violent, in the most decisive way. Having seen Shedeur Sanders and the way he plays quarterback, rolling around out there, if you don't have the athleticism of Lamar Jackson, doesn't work. It makes you take a ton of sacks in college, and the whole game now is how fast do you make the decisions? When you mentioned Tua before, it's the fastest it's ever been done. Dan Marino was special because it was all quick release. People couldn't believe speed and accuracy on how fast it got out, because if you can buy a second more of time, you can be Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, MVP of the league. But if you're not as athletic as them and you try to play the position that way, you're going to look like old Teddy Bridgewater, where anytime you're outside of the pocket, nobody wants you outside of the pocket. You're not going to extend plays with his athleticism in the pros, and those numbers are damning. Like, I don't know what Cleveland could possibly see that would tell me that that is a professional quarterback based on the sample size you just saw there of doesn't make the decisions quickly enough.
I think it's very fair to say Shedeur Sanders needs to prove himself in this league. I don't think that's disrespect. And I also think the rest of the NFL right now is thinking to itself, you know what? Maybe we weren't that stupid to wait and draft him in the 3rd day of the draft. The fact that Joe Flacco was named the starter fairly quick simply indicates to me that Shedeur Sanders ain't ready, and we all see it, and it's without dispute. It doesn't mean he won't turn out to be a very good quarterback, but right now he needs time, and they're not rushing him.
Yeah, but when
they're doing the smart thing, though. The worst thing they could do is Cleveland starts off 0-4, and Shedeur Sanders stinks, and all of a sudden everybody dislikes him instead of waiting for him as the hero that's about to happen.
Those numbers I just gave you, though, they're pretty damning on decision making, on the skill that you're being asked to have right now that is the most important. We've seen a sea change at the position. People are expecting J.J. McCarthy to be good. My entire life, the quarterback never comes in and is immediately good, or he's one of the really special ones. He's Cam Newton throwing for 400 yards his first game out. The quarterback in my lifetime, now this is something new now, because all of a sudden Herbert and Tua don't wait. It's not about Aaron Rodgers stays on the bench for a couple of years. It's Bryce Young, get in there in 8 games, and we'll think you're close to done if Andy Dalton doesn't get into a car accident. You might be on another team right now, because the windows now to measure these people are what, 8 games? 8, like legitimately, because of what they've done with the economy of you can get out from under a bad contract now. You don't have to sit there with Ryan Leaf for 2 or 3 years trying to figure it out. What do you do with Shedeur Sanders is there as your quarterback, but your team has no hope, none. He's not going to be any good. They're not going to be any good.
If you're not patient with your rookie quarterback, you have a systemic problem, particularly a rookie quarterback drafted in the round he was drafted. You have to go in knowing this is not going to be magic right away. We're going to have to wait a little bit. The problem is he's gone to a bad team. If he's playing behind Philadelphia's offensive line, he's not sacked 5 times. He's playing behind a bad offensive line.
He might be. He gets sacked a ton.
That's an excellent point. In Colorado, he never got blamed for it. They always put it on the offensive line, and the dynamic there kind of protected him. But we know how he played in Colorado. He would hold on to the ball a really, really long time over there. Kevin Clark was on Pardon My Take a few weeks ago, and he kind of theorized how Cam Ward held on to the ball a little bit when he finally had a good offensive line. It was the opposite when he was at Wazoo. But you have quarterbacks that are entering the league now that aren't necessarily from the school of get it out as quickly as possible. Usually the sport beats it out of you, but in high school, the hitting rules have changed. This is really the first generation that has gone through all levels of football, not really being punished physically for holding on to the ball too long. So you might see it more, and it might take time to get it beat out of you.
The thing that people do not realize whenever they stand next to Peyton Manning or Tom Brady or Ben Roethlisberger is, holy shit, that person's big, right? So now make it Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, where it's someone galloping around and he's more athletic than everyone else, and he has the most valuable of gifts in the salary cap. It's the most valuable gift. Don't kind of need my running back, and also I can extend plays. Does not matter whether my offensive lineman actually does his job. Patrick Mahomes doesn't even have that as much anymore. He'll run for 8 yards on 3rd and 7, but what they've done to his body already grinds that out of you if you're not. I imagine, Billy, you stood next to Josh Allen. Was the size of him not something that sort of left you in the shade?
I thought he was going to be bigger. I mean, I'm not saying that as like an insult. I was.
He's a linebacker.
Coming off as insulting. It's not meant that way. But
Billy's tall, though.
We took a picture next to him. He's like 2 or 3 inches taller than me. I was surprised. Like, I've seen Joe Burrow in person. Joe Burrow looks like an Adonis.
So he's not that big, and he's got a stupid face. Is your appraisal of the top of the AFC East?
No, didn't say
the
either
MVP
of
the
things.
league.
No,
The AFC.
I did not say those.
At certain points, you said both those.
You
things.
said both of those
No,
things.
I
Just
said-
not together at the same time.
You did say both of those things. Stupid face and not that big.
I was surprised.
Not impressive physically.
Should have been bigger, honestly. A little pudgy.
The game has changed. Weed is legal now with Stugotz and Greg Cody.
I'll tell a story if it makes you feel better.
Yeah.
When I first took the first edible I ever took was in New York, and at the time I was breaking the law. Okay, so now you can feel good about telling your story. And the guy told me, "Hey, just eat half of this." And so I ate half, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and I didn't feel anything. And he begged me just to eat half. And he did say on the front end it might take a while. But I was impatient.
Right.
Because when you smoke marijuana, you get instant gratification. And waiting an hour or two for something to kick in was not something I was familiar with.
Right.
So I ate another half, which became a full cookie. And 60 minutes later, I don't remember anything. I woke up the next morning on the floor in my wife's uncle's apartment because Abby had to throw me into a cab with her, and she took me home. And I was curled up in the fetal position, and I don't remember a thing after the second half of that cookie.
Wow.
This was last Wednesday. So, with that being said, feel free to share your story of you having 4 cookies in Colorado.
Yeah, I wolfed them down. It was 3 or 4. I didn't know
3
how.
or 4?
Yeah, I
You
wolfed
don't
them
ask?
down.
You don't
Well,
say, "Hey, person I'm purchasing this from, how fast should I do these?"
The guy at the thing, and it was one of those official things where they dress like pharmacists in there, and they sold me a vial of edible cookies, and it was in Colorado, so it's 100% legal. And my wife and I are getting ready to go to dinner. We popped open the thing. She had a nibble of one, and I ate, I think, probably 2 or 3, and it hit me by the time we got to that restaurant.
I just love how terrified you are of this conversation. You keep throwing in there like it's perfectly legal what I did.
To be fair to Greg, this has not exactly been, the most up and up thing to talk about for 60 years of his life.
Right, exactly.
This is a fairly recent phenomenon. We just go, oh yeah, everything's fine now.
No, and I don't, we did that because we were vacationing in Colorado, and I wanted to
Stop giving qualifiers.
I have to give a qualifier.
Greg, more qualifiers.
It feels better when you're doing it legally. It
Right,
does.
I don't smoke anymore. I mean, I don't do that. I did in
Totally
college.
lying, trying to make them feel better. I mean,
Thank you. Thanks for that.
getting away with it was much more fun. I mean, seriously.
I had my day doing that, so.
We used to get dime bags at a place in Hillside, Queens. It was called the Tie Door. Oh, was it fantastic? You never saw the guy. You just saw his hand. You would see his
like
hand.
a first touch in a marriage?
Yeah, you would open up this little sliding door in Hillside, Queens. You would see his hand. He would see your hand. You'd never see each other. He'd put weed in your hand. You would put money in his hand, and that was it. That was a transaction. It was great. Called the Tie Door.
Weed first, then money?
Money first.
Oh, there you
well,
go.
it was like you would do it at the same time, but occasionally.
So you'd see both hands.
Yes, correct.
Once every 6 months, you'd hear stories of like some guy sticking his hand and then getting arrested on the spot. The cuffs right on the wrist. That's all you see, the wrist, and then.
I always wondered, is today going to be the day? Because I went every day. And it wasn't far from my house. But is today the day that it's going to be a cop on the other side of that door? I did. I feared that every single day. But it
I know we talk about leadership as if we know what a football coach is supposed to do in the managing of people and egos. But when I bring up the Mike McDaniel, Tyreek Hill thing, or let's bring it to America's team here and the Dallas Cowboys, where you have a coach who hasn't done anything. He's got a name that his father made famous, a coach that hasn't done in the league what Micah Parsons has done in the league. And these people are not to be trifled with when it comes to respect and disrespect. You saw the sound we played of Shaquille O'Neal saying what happens. He wants to fight Pat Riley, and Pat Riley has to trade him the next day. So what do you do if you're the Dallas Cowboys, if you're in charge of Micah Parsons, when one of the things that keeps happening here, Micah Parsons is the biggest star on that team. I mean, we could say Dak Prescott, we could say CeeDee Lamb, but as a personality that represents what the Cowboys of past represented, he's got his own power, his own podcast, and now he fights with management. Jerry Jones loves to make spectacle of these things, but he's disrespected now an important player who now disrespects back. In the modern age of football, players can now make requests and demands of trades that unthought of 5 years ago. The idea of somebody's going to go up against the culture of the power with, I either request or demand a trade, maybe 10 years ago. It's just not I know there are holdouts, but it's not a normal thing to have players all over the league requesting or demanding trades, especially players of this kind of value.
This is a classic Jerry Jones misplay for the sake of attention, in my opinion. Micah Parsons is not just a really good defensive player. He's one of the best in the league. He's on a Hall of Fame track, 4 All-Pros in his first 4 seasons. I mean, this guy is extraordinary. I don't think he's the biggest star on the team. He's certainly the best player on the team. He's going to get his money, and they need to give it to him. And the hassle they're putting him through, where he's dissatisfied, he's asking for a trade, this is just Jerry Jones being Jerry.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Biggest Cowboys star, CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, or Micah Parsons?
I should clarify, it's been since the late 90s that star players have been demanding trades. Eli Manning did it before he even entered the league. Bledsoe on down. So this is pretty normal in the league. It's not necessarily normal for someone to come out the gates. Usually this is in the public a little bit longer than it was for Micah Parsons, where he just came out and demanded a trade, but it's not a failed attempt at getting attention. If you think that's solely the reason for this, then he's gotten the attention, Greg.
Right.
And we've seen this before. I have a hard time working myself up in terms of having genuine interest in this story, because we've seen a lot of Cowboys holdouts play out in the public space. The First Take talks about it ad nauseum, and then what inevitably happens is Jerry Jones caves, gives in the big contract, and it usually aligns itself with kickoff of the
All
regular
right, but
season.
let me make a correction to your correction, because the quarterbacks have had the power to do it. They're the only ones who have had the power
Carl
to do
Pickens,
it.
Randy Moss, Deion Sanders. It goes on and on. This is not uncommon in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of agree with Mike, but I also think that Jerry Jones right now cannot afford what is happening with Micah Parsons. He has to get him sewn up with a big contract, because Jerry Jones, imagine the frustration he's going to feel and the short leash Brian Schottenheimer has. As far as I'm concerned, Schottenheimer is one and done with this team. If they don't make the playoffs, I don't think he's back for a second season. You've got Philadelphia, the best team in the league right now in that division. You've got an up-and-coming Washington with Jaden Daniels. Dallas is a low third right now in that division, and Schottenheimer has to win right now or he's out. And part of that is you have to have Micah Parsons on your team.
But what do you do, though? Like, he's lying on the table during the game. What do you do if you're the coach? He says he's going to meet with him. He says he's going to ask him questions. But when you start with the back and forth on disrespect in public, and it's part of your owner's blueprint, I want to get back. Have any of you seen the Cowboys documentary on Netflix? Because I did something with it that I've never done in my life on a documentary before. I got 7/8 of the way through it and gave up on it at the end, because it was so formulaic about how NFL filming they were doing it, how they were going and covering games from 30 years ago to do this the way that Jerry Jones wanted done, as opposed to the true way to do it, like the real way to do it, where you're not just covering Michael Irvin's infidelity, but you're also covering Jerry Jones's public missteps on this front, but Jerry Jones told the story he wanted to tell, where he still wants the credit for Herschel Walker trade he had nothing to do with, and he's still out here with the petty grievances of trying to tell his own story because he's trying to attach himself to all these things in the most jock sniffer of ways. He wants to be responsible for the football success, the attention, the circus. That was not worth 8 episodes. It was fat by 4 episodes because they told no further story on past details and did the least possible amount you could do with those particular people on camera.
5 instances in which there have been star players for the Dallas Cowboys that have held out only to sign a big-time extension just days before the season started. And that's not even counting examples like Dak Prescott, which Jerry made a whole big deal of wanting to announce the day one of the season, but Tyreek Hill had the nerve to go ahead and get arrested and take it out of the headlines. We have a holdout from Michael Irvin in 1992, held out there in training camp, signed days before the regular season started. Ezekiel Elliott had one. Zach Martin had 2 of them. CeeDee Lamb had one in 2024. This all follows the formula. Big spectacle for cable TV to chew on these things. Jerry Jones inevitably caves.
To your point, if Jerry Jones is the de facto producer of your documentary on the Cowboys, you know it's going to be sugar-coated. You know it's going to be awful.
I was just so bummed by it because my expectations were so high because I know how rich that story is, but they added so few new details that hadn't been in Jeff Pearlman's book, and we're just stealing from Jeff Pearlman's book without giving him any of the credit for it. It was also rushed because they had to get it out before football season. And Jerry Jones insists on being the center of an 8-part story when all they're doing is covering things from 30 years ago. And yeah, you can do the nostalgia of that. People will eat that up. But I asked the group here because it doesn't seem like most people care what's happening to the truth in exchange for access. Because all this was look, we can get George Bush to do it because Jerry Jones asked him. We could get Rupert Murdoch to do it because Jerry Jones asked him. We could get Roger Goodell to do it because Jerry Jones is telling people, go tell my story. Tell them how important I am to this entire thing. The league, the show, the team, when I don't actually do anything other than try and take the credit from Jimmy Johnson.
And the parallel between this documentary and Micah Parsons is that it's all about Jerry. All right. He has spent an entire career from the Jimmy Johnson signing to Micah Parsons demanding the attention that feeds his ego. And for 30 years now, his team hasn't been super relevant beyond its America's team title, but yet here he goes still. I like to think that at one point Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons have had a conversation that went, Micah, we're going to sign you. You're going to get your money. Let's just have some fun with this. I wouldn't put that beyond Jerry Jones.
I understand what you're lamenting, Dan, but that's just the way it's been. You only get the participation in the documentary if they can make money on it. And they'll give you access and, in turn, their own truth. You said earlier, get me Avery Johnson's dad and his older brother. They're more likely to start their own podcast and give them your truth as opposed to you actually getting them to answer questions truthfully.
All right, so let me ask you these questions about this documentary because I imagine it'll be very popular and the nostalgia stuff works. Old Men Tell Stories is something that can reach across demographics because with one age group, you're reliving glory days, and with another age group, you're just giving them an entertaining history lesson. So they spent 6 episodes on 30 years ago because it's the last time they did anything. And the hole in Jerry Jones's heart that must exist because he's roaming the earth for 30 years. And yeah, he won with Barry Switzer, but Barry Switzer won with Jimmy's players. The rest of the time, the only way he can be Jimmy's equal is to fight with him. It's the only way. He'll never have the respect that Jimmy Johnson has, where Michael Irvin is saying in the documentary, I would have played after my paralysis thing if it had been Jimmy, but I wasn't going to do it for Chan Gailey.
Equal in terms of achievement in the game, yeah, he's probably going to be chasing that Jimmy ghost for a long time. But they are not equal in terms of relevancy. Jimmy Johnson's retired. Jerry Jones is the first topic on First
I
Take.
get it, but that hole never gets filled. You can make all the noise in the offseason. You can get all the attention in the offseason. The hole will never be filled. He built that. You didn't. And you're still making documentaries trying to get the last word where you get all your powerful friends to go out there and do your bidding. And you won the money. You did win the money, but you will. They're talking at the end of that. When I checked out on that, it's the Jones family of nepotism talking about, man, we got to do this before Dad dies. Like that, you don't understand what this means to him. This is Kobe winning without Shaq. Like Jerry Jones he can have all the money in the world, all the money. That hole will never be filled for him unless he can do it without Jimmy Johnson.
And the crater has only gotten bigger because for the first time in a long time, Dallas is third in a 4-team division. There are 2 teams clearly better than him, and that hasn't been the case in a while.
But you're feeding the machine now because that is a storyline that is even more pronounced. Thank you to this propaganda that makes us very clear on his mortality as a guy that fought stage 4 cancer and conquered it over a 10-year battle. This is what he needs to conquer before he leaves this earth, America's team.
Let me ask you guys this question off of the college football of the weekend. Stanford loses to Hawaii, and it got me to thinking about Andrew Luck in the position of overseer of Stanford football. All of us look at that and say, sure, that makes sense. Your father was an administrator. You would go right to the front of the line and grab the top of the power at Stanford, and that would be something that would matter to you education-wise, symbol-wise. You left the sport early. What an amazing thing for Andrew Luck. Why would he be good at that job? Just in terms of qualifications. I think we all assume he'd be good at that job. But what about leading a team down the field would make you a good administrator that would make you be able to lead the finances of a program because you're over budget over here in this part of the athletic program? I asked the question thinking he'll probably be good at the job, but only because he was smart as a quarterback, not because I think he's actually got qualifications that would lead to being a manager in this particular setting.
I would say the short answer is nothing. Nothing on his resume indicated he would be a great general manager of a major college program.
He knows ball.
Okay.
He's good at football.
That's fine. And I say this not because he lost his opener, but he's already made one monumental mistake when he names the coach an interim coach. You don't do that in college football. Okay, all the recruits are going, what? Interim coach? I don't know if I'm signing with somebody. I don't know if he's going to be here next year.
So lie to the recruits.
No. You name him the coach, and then you fire him if you have to.
It's going to take a minute. Look, it's going to take them more than a year, and I understand that decision. I'm just asking what it is that we're extending to Andrew Luck that we don't necessarily extend to everybody just because he was a smart quarterback.
If you think that family doesn't have deep ties to some of the biggest fundraisers in Stanford, you're fooling yourself. No one has a deeper understanding of Stanford athletics than arguably Andrew Luck, and has great relationships with all the money there that he needs to. And on top of that, he knows ball. He did it at a high level. He knows what that looks like. He played under Jim Harbaugh when they were clicking on all cylinders. I'd say he's plenty qualified, and he has his dad to lean on, and his dad was an uber successful administrator in the sport. I actually think it's a pretty natural selection.
He also has a bachelor's degree in architectural design.
Boom. Good for him.
And a master's in education.
Hey, look, he may turn out great. And I also think that the Andrew Luck name has a little bit of nobility attached to it because he's the rare athlete who got out on top.
It's not a little bit of nobility. There are very few.
Very noble.
There are very few athletes in the history of Stanford that would matter to Stanford the way that Andrew Luck does. And Mike's not wrong when he says, well, he's close to the donors. That's what makes him qualified.
And that's important. I understand the hiring. I just don't know that the name is going to make him great at a job.
I want to preface all of this by saying I, too, when they hired him, just immediately assumed, yes, that makes perfect sense. I also assume it's going to take a minute. But Stanford losing to Hawaii, like in terms of a start, when Frank Reich is your coach as an interim because you just need something that's a bandage, somebody who doesn't have aspirations beyond this 1 year of trying to get Andrew Luck to help build this bridge. But you guys don't understand how much he has to learn here, right?
Frank Reich also took the job because they fired their coach Troy Taylor in late March, which is very late in the coaching, hiring process because of the fact that he had investigations into mistreatment of employees. So this was a Band-Aid from the beginning, not just for Andrew Luck, just we need to kind of get on to the next season. And Frank is not our long-term goal here or solution, but he's going to navigate us while we get this set up.
It's not an easy job that he took over. Stanford is twisting in the wind, really struggling with the modern age of college athletics. Look where they're playing in the ACC. They travel more than any other team. There's loads of reasons why they're struggling. They had a terrible time in the portal since it ever was a thing. It's a long road ahead for that program.
The reason I bring some of this up, and again, I'm saying I too jumped to the same conclusion, but I see Tom Brady come over, okay, and immediately insult, because he's the owner and he's used to power, Wayne Rooney and all of his players with the criticism they don't work hard enough. He gets there. He's Tom Brady. Like when I say Andrew Luck has credentials in Stanford, yes, Tom Brady has all of the credentials, but we keep putting him in jobs that are at the very top of where other people have to train all their lives to get those spots, and they learn certain things on their way to the top of that. I think we underestimate how hard this job has become and how hard it is to do for Urban Meyer, Nick Saban, Andrew Luck, any of it, because when you take away the rules and the money just starts flowing in from every avenue, I love that Andrew Luck would choose a degree of difficulty challenge, like I need to stay motivated with some sort of sports work effort that doesn't ruin my body for my child. Like I like the nobility of all of that, and I don't have a better candidate for you for that job, but he's got no training for it.
Right.
Like you can say he played at Stanford and you can say he can play in the NFL, but he's got no training for the position, because it's a position we've invented 5 years ago, because nobody knows what the hell is happening right now.
Yeah, and now the college football realm is more complicated, more difficult, more multifaceted than it's ever been. Likability factor through the roof with Andrew Luck. We're all rooting for him, but will he succeed in what Mike rightly says is a very tough situation? You know, I wouldn't bet on it.
There are administrators that are ADs right now that have administrative experience, but Dan, I'd venture to say that not a lot of people have experience for what college athletics is right now. It's this amorphous thing that you have no idea where it's actually headed. You know what the NCAA wants to have. You don't know what's going to get challenged in court. I think you've often said athletic directors, thoroughly unimpressive as a breed. What is their main job? Raise money. Andrew Luck can do that.
Raise money and solve problems.
Yes, I think he's also the rare administrator that can help a coach walk into a living room and talk an athlete, any athlete, not just in football, to come to our school, building a beautiful thing in Palo Alto.
I should probably also mention that in their first game, Stanford lost to Hawaii's kicker, who is from Japan and learned how to kick on YouTube. Figured out how to kick on YouTube and figured out how to get a scholarship and kick a game-winning field goal against Andrew Luck after learning how to kick on YouTube.
But Andrew Luck could have had, the job for 6 years and that still would have happened. Yeah. So what difference does that make?
Correct. That's one nihilistic viewpoint. Anything in sports can happen with anybody in charge. But in Andrew Luck's first game, Andrew Luck had, again, a Hawaii team that most of us just associate with losing every time in that spot, unless sometimes the team has had some flight issues getting over to Hawaii and they're at home. It can be problematic.
It's hard to come out of the TC Ching Athletic Complex alive.
But Stanford, the expectations for Stanford are substantively higher in football than they are for Hawaii.
Yeah. Smart school, though. Good GPAs. Got to give him credit.
Andrew Luck would be what the athletes that Stanford claims are John Elway and Tiger Woods, right? And Andrew Luck is somewhere in that stratosphere with those people, a history of both academics and athletics.
Katie Ledecky.
Oh, there you go.
I hope.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Boom. Who's an ally?
Congratulations, Mike. I don't think that should have been an outer thought. I think that should have remained an inner thought.
Boom. Jim Plunkett, Richard Sherman.
ACC legend Katie Ledecky.
Yeah, Katie.
We'll get to the Sooie for Best Back in My Day. I wonder who will be the winner of that category. The Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody features also Mario Cristobal this week as Greg Cody does his annual interview with the coach. Did you get uproarious laughter? Did you slap his back and throw your head back laughing because there's no pressure on him and just it's grand to be Mario Cristobal right now?
No pressure on him.
Well, I just don't assume that you and Mario Cristobal I don't assume that you just had roaring laughter because he's in a real relaxed space
No,
headed
he's
toward
not.
Notre Dame.
Yeah, he's not in a relaxed space. I mean, we didn't talk to him on game week. We talked to him a few days ago, so he was sort of relaxed. We had some laughs.
There was some genuine connection there. Like, it seemed like Mario was excited to see my dad, which was fun. If there's anything to tune in for my dad asking what is the longest first question in podcast history.
True.
I had to jump in twice and say, get to the question.
I know.
What happened?
Mario.
He does this thing, and Dan, sometimes you can do this thing where it's like I'm trying to set up everything, and it's just 3 minutes in, I'm like, let the man speak. We only have 12 minutes with him.
No, we had about 25 minutes with him, but your point is well taken. I'm glad you interrupted me, but it was a good conversation. Mario and I go back a long way.
That's what got your dad into this.
Exactly.
He's
He's just
there.
like,
oh, he's delighted to see me. I know your brother. I've known you for years. I've
and then
known you
he's
since you
breaking
were a
down
young
like
boy.
the first 3 seasons. His first season, this happened, and then it's just like, get to the
I'm giving
question,
him a
dude.
proper introduction. I'm a professional, but it was nice. Mario and I have become text buddies.
Wow.
We have a good relationship.
Tutties.
It's all good. It's all good. But I encourage people. That's a big guest for my podcast. I'm proud to have him. Great interview. I encourage people to listen to it.
Make or break season for the Canes, Greg?
Yes.
When you say text buddies, like you text them good luck before the game or like good night some nights.
What's
like,
the
how does
last
it
thing you
work?
texted him?
It's journalism related. I asked for something and blah, blah, blah. I don't want to go into details, but, you know.
Journalism related.
He really
It
threw a
sounds more-
shadowy curtain over everything he's doing there. He volunteered. We become text buddies, but then he shut it down.
Okay,
It
what am I
sounds
gonna-
more business than like buddies, honestly. Just like if you need something from him, you text it. That's a one-way
Give him like a good
relationship.
rest rec.
Yeah,
Hey,
a
I
happy
had-
birthday text, nothing like
gonna do
that.
that.
I went to this new restaurant. You should check it out.
Do you have to disclose to your readers and listeners now that you are now friends with Mario Cristobal?
No, I wouldn't call it friends.
That doesn't seem impartial.
Text buddies is
We
what
don't
he said.
We don't
Text-
socialize.
Did you tell Mario Cristobal that he's 1-6 versus ranked opponents at Miami?
That did not come up, actually. That did not come
And that's
up.
why we get Mario on our show. No, I'm kidding.
It was a good interview. I'm very proud of the conversation
The
we had.
Greg Cody Show featuring Greg
With-
Cody.
yeah.
Also, Back in My Day is a staple of his. It is out in book form where you can find what is largely recycled material now that he doesn't do any fresh stuff anymore. Here is the Sooie category, Greg Cody's Best Back in My Day.
And now the Sooie nominees for Best Back in My Day. Cruise ships. It's all about the action and excitement now. You see any of these ads? Just watching them makes me exhausted. People dive bombing feet first down terrifying vertical water flumes, bungee jumping out over the ocean, surfing simulators, tidal waves, indoor skydiving,
Unhealthy
scaling
voice.
a rock, zip lines. What am I, in a Marine boot camp? I didn't sign up for a thrill ride. I don't want to compete. I want to relax on my cruise. Get my money's worth on the drink card and doze on the deck in a chaise lounge with a dog-eared paperback on my lap, preferably Pride of a Lion. Can't even do that. Nowadays, the decks are a raucous boulevard with serpentining conga lines of dancers and Carmen Miranda hats and ping pong tables. Tell me the genius who thought that up. A ping pong ball weighs less than 1/10 of an ounce versus gale force ocean wind. You can't relax anymore on a cruise deck because the ship has jogging trails as health nuts who forgot they were on vacation are huffing it past, constantly checking their smartwatch to see if they're on pace. On pace for what? To be a more fit corpse? And why are there gyms on cruise ships in the first place? It's an oxymoron. It's like having a cocktail lounge in a synagogue. I don't need a gym to work out. I'm doing 12-ounce curls with a Miller Lite bottle. You won't catch Greg Cody doing anything more strenuous on a cruise than playing a couple of holes of mini golf, watching my wife lose at bingo, getting annoyed during some trivia contest, or praying at the roulette wheel. One other thing, it's not a Broadway or a Cirque du Soleil. I'm on a big, slow boat. I don't need a concert or a show production. Just give me an open buffet and a bar every 25 feet. Make cruise ships dull again. I'm Greg Cody, and that's how it was back in my day.
That's it? Come on. Hey, no. one? You did one fresh one, and I've heard all that material.
Who are you going to vote for?
I think that one's got a good chance.
I don't know.
That's ridiculous.
No?
You guys aren't respecting.
You can vote for Best Back in My Day at LeBatardAF.com.
Thank you.
I was thinking, how long is this? How long is this category? And then I realized he hasn't done any fresh ones.
Do you have a fresh one this week?
I do not. With all the Sooie work I've been doing. With all the Sooie stuff I've been doing, extracurricular activities, who's got time for a new Back in My Day?
I've got a couple of other things that I want to get to from the weekend, but let's gearhead it first. Go get the Richard Gere gearhead so that we can have a fluid transmission fluid. Let's
transmission fluid. Is that a thing?
Yes, yes, it is.
Left turns, baby. Gearhead is presented by NASCAR for all the latest insights and storylines. And to find out where and when you can watch, visit NASCAR.com. Guys, it was a night race at Daytona, the world's most famous racetrack. And it was the last race of the regular season. And the storyline here was Alex Bowman, the 48 car, much maligned at Hendrick Motorsports. You have all the resources in the world. Why aren't you better? You hold the last playoff spot. You need a good performance here to clinch your way into the playoffs. Crashes out very early in the race. Now he needs a repeat winner or he is OLI. Well, thankfully, thanks to the closest finish with the top four in NASCAR history. That's right, 4 cars within 4.9 milliseconds of one another. Wow. 0.49 milliseconds.
That sounds close.
So the photo finish isn't even helping you. You're like, how the hell are you doing this? You're doing this technologically, electronically.
Ryan Blaney came from Mars to win that race. He was 12th with 2 laps to go. With the next-gen cars, you really don't see this. But you had him and Cole Custer kind of partner up. One was towing the other, and they just blazed their way to the front of the pack. And he kept Alex Bowman in the playoffs. Playoffs start now this week. Really exciting season for NASCAR so far. Really happy that Ryan Blaney, the worst part of the life, is no longer losing and having hard luck. He had a really great race there.
What is the worst part of the life? I'm waiting for the rest of that. Are we still in the silence? I thought that we were still in the silence. The awkward. Yeah. All right.
Wrecking.
Yeah, there's that too. That
good answer.
It is a good answer. No bad questions. Only bad answers. Other than that one bad question. One of the things that I feared, you guys know that I was a youth league umpire. What my career ended one time when I made a T-ball kid cry while he was sliding into third base because my out sign was so dramatically flamboyant. But I hated being behind home plate umpiring because, and I think this is one of the great underrated dangerous things in sports, being in and around the batter's box on foul tips and stuff that are going 100 miles an hour. And I was always afraid of my junk. I never owned a cup of any kind in my youth, nor did I know to do so. And so the umpire, I mean, what do Cuban parents know about cups? Like what? Like I don't know. But as an umpire, I was scared of what this one umpire got. This is just unbelievably bad luck.
This is over the course of a full game. Really bad luck for this umpire who, for people not watching, seems like an older guy. I'm putting him at like my dad's age.
Okay, and this is a dangerous spot, and this is what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of this for the catcher. I'm afraid of this for the umpire. But let's just go through this guy getting hit 3 times down there.
Oh, that was the first one.
Yeah, that's.
Now we cut to later in the game.
In the undercarriage. Oh, that's straight on. That's not even foul tip. That's just a bad catcher.
He's struggling.
That's just a bad catcher. Well, that one didn't even go in the dirt.
He takes a step.
I mean, that.
And now the third one.
Oh my God!
That one knocked
His arm seized there.
That one he fell to the
For the
third.
podcast audience, we're watching an umpire get hit in the dick over and over.
And the third one, he fell to the ground into the field.
All right, you got to isolate those sounds for me.
The third one is look for the arm twitching.
Okay, wait a minute.
Before we relive the sounds, guys, can you just get that third one back up there?
That's highly questionable.
All right, for the audio audience, the umpire going down as if a sack of potatoes had been dropped from a helicopter.
All right, we got the third one here. Here we go.
The umpire going down on the third one in a way that we can all imagine.
No! Just laying in the fetal position.
And he never got up.
Behind home plate, he did get up. He was not buried there. That did not terminate. That did not end his life. But can I hear the escalating sounds, one after another? Okay.
Oh my God.
I want to hear the three of them, and I want to hear them in order, and I want to hear them isolated so that we could just see this escalation. But on the third one, he does give up. His body is lifeless behind home plate, and it came with the sound you'd expect.
My favorite is this one where afterwards you hear a little coaching. No one's worried about the umpire.
Stay alive, Brian.
Way to stay alive,
Way to stay
Brian.
alive,
It
Brian.
may have been the umpire.
Maybe the umpire. Maybe the umpire's named Brian. You don't know.
Umpire Brian, yeah.
Stay alive, Brian.
That's the second one, but the third one is the worst of these. You can't play it enough over the rest of the show.
Poor guy.
Does it sound like he's a poor guy? Because this is universally funny. This is almost like the original joke, is it not? This is the things that are universally funny are somebody falling down. This has two of them. Because at the end he gives you the punctuation. But always funny, somebody falling down. Always funny, somebody being hit in the groin. You combine the two of them, and you've got gold. And then, of course, the original joke, the fart. There may have been one of those two.
He's got to have a cup. Like you, he wasn't wearing a cup.
It sounds but it sounds like he does have a cup. It does sound like that. It sounds like it's made of cardboard as well, but it sounds like that is hitting something that is not human flesh.
I just love the third one so much.
I mean,
Oh,
the third one is great for a number of reasons, but one of them is but it's just both arms jutting out, like where he's like he knows at this point the Cosmos are playing a joke on him. Once he gets hit with the third time, and then he just quits. He quits on the game. He quits on dignity.
he's on the ground thinking, I'm getting $12 for doing this Little League game. I got to get a real job.
And then he sounds exactly like Homer Simpson.
Yeah.
And on the video, the coach just waddling to him.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
you got a coach who's got a substantive belly. Okay?
Few soda bodies on the diamond.
This is more than a soda body. This is someone who leads with his gut, and he is very much
Couldn't have been less eager. He's just like, let me go check on this guy.
Let me check on an umpire who is prone, and if police showed up and put police tape around him, would look dead or alive. This is how it would look if he were dead. And then helpful beer belly coach comes out and just sort of steps over the umpire.
I could look at that umpire laying like that.
I'm going to maintain that's one of the greatest sports photographs ever taken, the one that is presently on our screen. I think before it used to be Muhammad Ali was standing over Cassius Clay on the 5th Street gym. But thank you, Roy. Good correction. I thought that this photograph on Miami Beach would never be topped, but I've got it wrong. You put this photograph in front of somebody and ask them what happened here. What do you think happened here? Nobody's answer is this is the third time in one game that umpire has caught a foul tip, and he's quit because because the Cosmos are clearly against it.
This counts as Little League World Series coverage.
The poor pitcher. He's kneeling on the mound thinking, what did I do?
That's what you do when someone goes down. You take a knee.
Wow.
What I'm telling you, though, that I was afraid of as a Little League umpire is exactly what I think happened to that umpire on either 2 or 3 of the occasions. I can't tell. It's not the foul tip in the dirt catching the undercarriage, although I was scared of that too. It's just I can't trust a 9-year-old catcher to not let that fastball just hit me square. That's not, are all of those, which of those are foul tips and which is just the catcher whiffed on catching the ball? I don't think those were all foul tips.
No.
I think that's just one bad catcher is making it very difficult to do that job for $12 an hour.
I mean, you heard the aluminum bat, right?
on one of them. On I heard a foul tip on one of them, but on the
it's getting
second.
the tip every single time.
You like that one, Roy?
That was good.
Coach sauntering down the baseline while the
but
guy
man,
is just
that
on his...
body. No, that body.
Like, you think there'd be a little jog here.
No, but it's not. It's Bert Kreischer wandering in with a T-shirt that's too tight, and he's just in control of everything, and he just needs the umpire to get over his whimpering and get back out there.
Yeah, rub some dirt on it.
Way to stay alive, Brian.
Stay alive, Brian.
Would you guys do me the favor, please, of putting up on the screen, since we are now shaming bodies here, one of the great nicknames now that exists in baseball. I mentioned the other day with Tim Kirchin that I thought that the fat baseball player had gone extinct. And he agreed that the fat baseball player had gone extinct. But Big Sugar, Zach Maxwell, a pitcher for the Reds.
Oh, look at this guy.
Yeah, he's got a belly on him. And how tall is that person? He is 6'6", 6'7". He is another one of these people who throws 100 miles an hour.
That's the best part of it. Not just 100, like 102, 103. The kid throws ched.
Well, I saw somebody the other day. I hit a home run off a 104 mile an hour pitch off of one of these Mason throws. Somebody hit a home
Mason
run.
Miller.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even understand how people do that. So this person throws 102 miles an hour.
For me, it's the glasses, too. It's the combo of the belly and the glasses that do it for me. If he doesn't have the glasses, it's not the same for me.
He is 6'6", 275 pounds, and hits 102 miles an hour in the radar gun.
Yeah. Wow.
Big Sugar.
And you know what? In the same category, Cal Raleigh just hit his 49th home run.
Most ever.
Chubby.
Most ever for a catcher in a season. That's
Big
crazy.
dumper.
We're doing chubby there? Because I feel like square more than it's like Schwarber. It's not chubby.
Thick.
It's just
thick. Okay, I'll take thick.
I think we would all be impressed if he took his shirt off.
With 2 C's.
Really?
You don't think, what do you think? He looks like me?
Yeah, maybe.
No.
Take your shirt off. Let me see.
We'll start with him, and then we'll work backwards.
You believe that he's out of shape?
I don't believe. I believe he's out of shape by the pro athlete standard. For you and I standard, no. I think he's in great shape. But for a pro athlete, I think Cal Raleigh, with all due respect,
So he's not a 70-year-old man.
Right. That's
Okay,
exactly right.
okay.
Yeah.